All right, thanks very much for rejoining us. I'm Lynn Doyle. This is It's Your Call, and our topic this hour is legalizing marijuana. Of course, as we do on this show, we present two sides of the issue, but we always want to know what you think, where you stand. So if you'd like to email me, you can do that at lynn@lynndoyle.net. You can also find us on Facebook. We have a large discussion going there. I was amazed at the reaction and the response that we got when we posted questions about legalizing pot. It still continues to be a very divisive topic in this country all these years later. Yeah, sure. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's 70 years of dealing with falsehoods and lies. I mean, that's the thing. We're coming against a learning curve for cannabis, both in how it's used in society and also the plant itself. It's only in the last 15 years that we've discovered the cannabinoid receptor system and why the cannabinoids in marijuana actually work in the human body. And a lot of that research is stymied by federal prohibition and by these continued attitudes towards marijuana.
Look, Lynn, I think there's statistics on both sides. And I really think that,
as always,
as all the research I've seen through law enforcement, I've seen that marijuana leads to use of other drugs.
That's what the law enforcement
heroin,
perspective is, because they encounter drug users on the street.
So if we legalize it and we increase usage, now we're going to increase the need for heroin. Where does heroin come from? Afghanistan. We're going to help the Taliban. We're going to help terrorism.
He's just worried about losing his clients. He's a criminal defense attorney. If we legalize marijuana, he won't have any money anymore, right?
Let's follow up with that gateway drug terminology.
Two things here real quick.
Earlier you said cigarettes and alcohol are the gateway drug, but you said that marijuana is gateway drug to heroin and cocaine.
Come on now.
Here's an interesting statistic. Go again to that wonderful model of the Netherlands, okay? And this is a fact, and the gentleman will agree. When they decriminalized marijuana, in fact, made it legal in the Netherlands, heroin addiction tripled.
In the Netherlands. And the two don't have anything to do with each other. That's the second time you brought it up. They are not linked. Marijuana and heroin addiction are not linked.
I am not for a moment.
There's not even addiction
for
marijuana.
a moment saying there's a one-for-one correlation. What I am saying is...
Yes, you are. You're bringing it up right now, just like prohibition has happened for 70 years.
Let me finish the thought.
Go ahead.
There is a proven correlation, may not be one-to-one, that increased marijuana usage leads to increased usage of other illicit drugs.
There's no proven correlation. That's your opinion. That is not fact. That is your opinion, and your opinion as well. It's a fact to you.
Let me talk to you about that.
Please.
We just recently did a program at a high school in Baltimore, and the uniqueness about this high school in Baltimore, it's inside a prison, as these young men are waiting to stand trial. Of these 12 young men, we asked the question, and they didn't know I was a cop yet, okay? Didn't tell them yet. Of these 12 young men, we asked the question, if drugs were legal tomorrow, all drugs, what would the issues be in your neighborhood? But I want to get in, and one of the top responses was marijuana we'd be able to use marijuana. And I said, well, what other drugs would you use? He said, none. I said, you wouldn't use heroin? No, I wouldn't use heroin. I don't want to be a zombie. You wouldn't use cocaine? No. But marijuana, yeah, we would probably use that. And each and every one of those 12 boys said that.
And Lynn, let me say this. We're talking about using marijuana or other drugs, whether it's a gateway or not, we'll put that aside. The reality is, look at the problems we have now. We have an economy in the ditch. We have 15 million people unemployed. We have an education system that has failed us because those 12 individuals are in that prison. And what are we talking about? We're talking about making marijuana more widely available when we should really be talking about how do we fix some of these structural problems. And I would argue making illegal drugs legal is not the right approach.
Most of those boys were in that prison. Those 12 boys were in there because of drug dealing. We can't keep them in the high school. Baltimore has a 60% dropout rate for young black males because they want to go out in the streets and sell drugs. We created that environment
so let's make
through
it legal
prohibition.
For them to do that.
Okay,
no, you know better than that.
Lynn, we just heard something important, drug dealing. We're not here trying to award dealing. We're talking about usage.
Right.
That's why regulating and taxing is the way to bring this economy
forward. Kids will tell you today that it's easier to get marijuana right now than cigarettes and alcohol because we leave complete control up to the criminals, and they don't care about a driver's license.
We're almost out of time, but I want to know if you think if legalizing is not the answer, changing the penalties for it or changing the amount of time that people spend in jail?
You have to legalize it, you have to regulate it, and you have to control it. Don't half-step this. Do it the way it needs to be done.
If you keep the laws on the books and yet you change who goes to jail or when they go to jail or for how long they go to jail, you're still sending a message that it's wrong.
Yeah, they're already choosing mostly black men are going to jail for marijuana already, and that's the problem with the policy.
Right here in Philadelphia. Okay, our current DA, Seth Williams, is doing that. in conjunction with our Supreme Court.
That's right.
They have already began a program where they're not rewarding you for using marijuana. You're still going to get fingerprint, you're still going to get a citation, but they're not going to throw you in jail.
Okay.
So it's sending the right message. Don't use illegal drugs. Don't use drugs.
And
Okay.
let's treat
And how much does
This
it cost the
debate
system to
is
deal with
going
these
to
drugs?
continue,
Treat
I'm
and
sure. As
teach.
long as I've done this show for
We'll agree
14
on that.
years,
You
this
gotta
debate's
treat
been
and
around,
teach.
and I think it will be
We'll
around for a
agree on
long
that.
time.
Thank you, Lynn.
One thing before we go, I did want to ask you about the baby boomers. Is it true that baby boomers are enjoying a resurgence of use of
I think they
marijuana?
are. Yeah, we've certainly seen the baby boomer generation enjoying marijuana more, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But as people retire, they're using more marijuana. Used to be teenagers would, that teenagers would steal their parents' marijuana might be a little bit more.
they
of
start
And
the-
now it's the other way around. Oh my God.
Indeed.
You don't want your mom going to jail, let me tell you that, okay? Thanks, guys, very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so
Great to
much.
have you all here. Great to have you guys back, as always. As always, we want to know what you have to say about this topic, so go ahead and email me right now at lynn@lynndoyle.net. Until the next time, my thanks to my crew and to you for watching. I'm Lynn Doyle. Good night.